So today I'm going to be unboxing a very special product from Antec. This is the Antec Quattro 1200W power supply, but there's something a little bit different and special about this one. You see this yellow stripe down the packaging that says overclocking version? Well, the reason it has that on it is that aside from all the other features it has, just like the other Quattro 1200, which means it's 80 plus silver, and if I can find the logo, yep, there it is. It runs very quiet, as you can see. They've got their quiet computing logo on there. Let me see what else. You know what? Why don't we run through everything else and then I'll save the surprise of why it's an overclocking edition for later. So it is SLI certified and it better be at 1200 watts. It's designed to support 3 GPUs and dual and quad core and 6 core now that those are out, so the packaging's a little bit outdated. The computer industry moves so fast. Let's see, what else do we have? 6 12-volt rails, advanced hybrid cable management, which means it has modular cables, and then it also has industrial-grade protection circuitry to prevent damage resulting from short circuits or over voltages. Okay, and then what else do we have here? You know, it's funny that they don't actually list one of the key features of this particular unit, which is the power cache feature. You can see it's actually covered by the overclocking label, power cache. So that is basically capacitors in line with the power supply cables themselves that will compensate for any little dips in voltage from the power supply, and you're basically drawing power that's stored in the capacitor rather than while you wait for the power supply to catch up and get back up to the right voltage. Now, I should probably mention at this time that this isn't going to be just a regular unboxing. This is also going to be a giveaway. We are going to give away the 1200 watt Antec Quattro power supply, and there's a special requirement. We are not going to give away this power supply, which will be unboxed at the time of giving it away, until Linus Tech Tips, my channel here, reaches 10,000 subscribers. So tell your friends to subscribe, and once they do, we're going to do a random draw for the Antec Quattro 1200 watt OC edition. So here it is, the power cache. A high performance capacitor delivers an extra power reserve where you need it, when you need it most. All right, let's get this box open. If I can figure out how to get the box open. And we'll have a look at the power supply itself, things like the finish, the cables that are attached to it, although I can tell you right now the cables attached to it are going to be, well, lots. Okay, the first thing we find is an Antec product overview where they show you the power supply and the cables attached to it in a bunch of different languages. Next we have a thick, let's see if I can find it quickly enough here to do this on camera. Okay, it's rated for 300 volts, 14 AWG power connector using the non-standard computer power supply connector. So this baby is designed to draw a lot of power. Modular cables, why don't we have a look at those in a minute after we've gone through the perma cables, the pre-attached ones. Okay, do we have anything else? Okay, do not eat this. This is also in there. Don't eat it. It's not a snack. Alright, and then we've also got some screws. Don't eat those either. Black screws, little touches like that I really appreciate. You know, when you're building a system with a 1200 watt power supply, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say you might care what it looks like about the little touches. So Antec includes some black screws so that when you see the back of your case, you're not going to see little silver screws and then a black finish on your power supply, which is just awful. Just awful. Okay, so here's the power supply itself. We've got a red Go Faster set of racing stripes on here with our 1200 markings, which means that it can go up to 1200 miles per hour with these racing stripes. Next, we've got some vents on the side, as well as a stamped, I'm going to get that box out of the way, stamped Antec logo on there. Looks like a serial number. There we are. Hopefully you can read that. Next we go around to the front where we have some grills. So we got your standard honeycomb grills as well as your modular connector interface. Then we have all of our standard attached connectors. Now, while I would sometimes criticize a power supply manufacturer for putting so many cables pre-attached on a modular power supply, I mean, it's a 1200 watt power supply. If you're not connecting a few things to it, then, I mean, you better reevaluate your build. Okay, then we've got the label here. So hopefully you can read all of those specs there. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to. In HD, don't forget to change to HD if you can't read them. Then we've got the little overclocking sticker there. So let's get to what makes this overclocking. We've got our standard 80 mil fan. All the Quattro series use that at this time. Then we've got our power plug, our LED, and 2 knobs. So these knobs are actually adjustable knobs. So you can adjust the 12 volt rail to be up to 12.6 or as low as 11.8 volts. So for some particularly extreme overclockers who want to just have that much more control over the output of their power supply, that's a very cool option. It also gives you the option to control the fan speed. So from minimum to maximum. Here, I actually didn't know what this knob did until I opened it, so I'm glad I did this unboxing. All right, next, let's have a look at the cables that are attached here. So I'm gonna get the power supply sitting right there, like a good little power supply. Oh, the knobs kind of make it hard to put down like that. I mean, obviously that won't affect the product in regular use, and it's only really gonna impact you if you unbox it when you get it, but I mean, most people, I don't think, do that. I think most people are not like me and they actually just use their computer hardware. Okay, well, first thing we've got is the 24-pin connector. We got a nice long cable on here, so you'll be able to reach wherever you need to go. And it also has a little little booty on it. Not like booty, but like boot around it. So that's to make it look a little bit nicer, I guess, when you're bending it over to where it needs to go. Gets rid of some of the little multicoloredness that goes on the 24 pin. All right, next we have. Oh, this is hard to organize actually. So many cables. Okay, next we have Pci Express. Yes. So these will be perfect for Fermi, which was just released yesterday. So we have 4 Pci Express connectors. So you can see without actually attaching any modular connectors, we have 4, including the power cache feature. Okay, we have a 6+2 pin here, and then attached directly to it, we have an additional 6 pin. So if you're running any GPU, such as a Fermi, that requires an 8 and a 6 pin right together, you only have to run 1 cable to each GPU. So that means you could actually hook up 4 Fermis without actually, wow, that's wow, ridiculous. So yeah, you've got a lot of expansion options right out of the box with this power supply without even making any changes to it. Okay, next we have, also featuring power cache, a 4+4 or 8-pin CPU connector. Then we have just an 8-pin CPU connector, so you're going to be able to plug in any board that requires, well, tons of PCI Express connectors, tons of 8-pin connectors. And then for the pre-attached cables, because, you know, you never know what someone, even using a 1200 watt power supply, is going to be using for SATA devices. I mean, hey, they might just be using a high-end SSD and a Blu-ray. So we've only got 3 SATA cables pre-attached. We've got nice spacing on there. I kind of like this, what they've done with the sleeving here. I wish they were using a sleeving that's not so easy to see through, but I like these plastic caps that they got on them. Alright, so why don't we have a look at the modular cables before we wrap this up. Okay, here we are. So next we have a couple more PCI Express connectors. Seriously, you're going to be able to like single slot water cool as many Fermis as you can put on that new EVGA, what is it, SR2 I think it is, Super Record 2, that dual Gulftown 7 PCI Express slot motherboard. Anyway, so there, that plugs into the 2 red spots on the back of the power supply, and you have another 2 6+2 and another 2 6 pins. That's for a total of, what is that, 12 PCI Express connectors on here. Then we have some more expansion options in terms of the Molex and SATA connectors. So I've got 2 more modular cables for Molex, each of them sporting 3 Molex connectors, and these are nice and long too. That's really good. And then one of them actually has a floppy connector just in case you still need one of those. Alright, and then for SATA, they've seems to have given us a little bit more in terms of SATA, just because obviously it's a newer standard. So yeah, you can see we've got 3 SATA cables of varying lengths. So they've given us one that has just 2 SATA connectors on it. That's really handy if you don't want to just randomly run extra cables if you've only got 2 drives. And then we have 2 that have 3. So you've got pretty much any options that you would need covered by the modular cables. So thank you for checking out my unboxing and product overview on the Quattro 1200 watt power supply. Don't forget, when I reach 10,000 subscribers, you can have a chance to win the Quattro 1200 watt power supply.